opportunity to bring up and raise internationally human rights violations on the Indian side, and it keeps lecturing India about rights violation, the record, every chance it gets. But if Pakistan looked within, this would be perhaps the worst kept secret inside Pakistan. They have to look inside. NewsX has accessed visuals of its high-handedness in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. That was last week. Now there seems to be more embarrassment in store for the Sharif government in Islamabad. Another set of visuals accessed by NewsX reveal how Pakistan continues to use brutality against innocent citizens in Balochistan as well. Such has been the state of oppression that Balochis have been forced to demand freedom from Pakistani rule. Take a look at this.
Tens of thousands of Baloch have died. Pakistan military aircraft are bombing those areas.
It's the biggest proof of Pakistan's duplicity.
Until now, Pakistan has killed more than 200,000 Pashtuns.
A truth that Pakistan hides from the world. But the cat is surely out of the bag now. The voices from within have blown its cover.
Until now, Pakistan has killed more than 200,000 Pashtuns. And not only this, Pakistan has been killing Pashtuns with the partnership of US as well. US has also been killing Pashtuns since 2001 after 9/11.
And there's no hiding anymore.
It was an independent country till 1948, and when the Pakistan army invaded it, and since then there have been at least 4 wars of liberation, and right now tens of thousands of Baloch have died. Pakistan military aircraft are bombing those areas. There's a scorched earth policy in which homes of the Baloch have been destroyed.
For a country that never loses an opportunity to attack India, it's a reminder for introspection.
Be it atrocities being meted out to people in Balochistan, or for that matter Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and now Pashtunistan. Pakistan has been using terror as an instrument of state policy, but also throttling the aspirations of the people of these areas is something that is being reported by NewsX.
Especially with unmasking of their terror factories.
ये आज़ाद कश्मीर बुनियादी तौर पर बेस कैंप है। बेस कैंप क्या चीज़ होती है कि ये ट्रेनिंग कैंप है रेस्ट ऑफ द कश्मीर को लिबरेट कराने की। तो ये तो ऑफिशियली डिक्लेयर्ड है कि आज़ाद कश्मीर इज ए ट्रेनिंग कैंप।
This time Islamabad surely find itself in a corner.
If you have a non-democratic regime for long periods of time, they indulge in such kind of suppression. The only thing has been that the world's attention has not been focused on this.
While any hint of disturbance in the valley is deliberately misconstructed as unrest by Pakistan, it continues to maintain a deathly silence on atrocities committed against its own. From POK to Balochistan, Islamabad faces multiple mutinies. Therefore we ask, isn't it time for Pakistan to look within? With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, NewsX.
Pakistan's human rights record not looking good, and there is major embarrassment to Pakistan as far as the comments and the visuals in that footage is concerned. Shiv Shankar Mukherjee joins us, former diplomat, tonight, as well as Major General retired G.D. Bakshi, editor of the Indian Defence Review. Also with us will be Shaina NC, spokesperson of the BJP. She joins us from Mumbai. We'll be joined by a couple of other guests. I'll introduce them as and when they do join us. Ambassador Mukherjee, this of course is a badly kept secret in Pakistan and even in South Asia, I beg your pardon, that Pakistan has been using force on its own citizens for decades is quite a well-known fact. Now it's out in the open. It takes away the moral high ground Pakistan always seems to want to take in international fora. They have to look within before they can lecture India on what to do and what's what.
Well, that's absolutely true. And more than that, if you just look at what, Pakistani statements about Kashmir, they basically fall into the umbrella of, well, militarization of Kashmir by India, abuse of human rights by India and Indian forces, denial of self-determination to people in Jammu and Kashmir, particularly Kashmir Valley. Now, all that has been countered by us, more or less effectively, by the simple fact that Jammu and Kashmir has enjoyed democracy in spite of terrorism exported across the border, in spite of the unstable conditions that are tried to be created by Pakistan's state sponsorship of terrorism in that area.
Right.
And on the other hand, as you said, it's well known but not really internationally noticed or focused on, the Pakistani record in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Gilgit and Baltistan, which have been under central rule, which have been denied democracy, which have been oppressed, which have seen ethnic cleansing. So I would say, yes, I would agree with your report that also quoted our former foreign minister, that we should now go on a diplomatic offensive. The fact is, though, I would advise caution against expecting too much. Because, frankly, most of the world doesn't want to get involved. They sit back with the bromide statement that, you should sort out your problems bilaterally.
It does demolish myths of Pakistan.
It does indeed, but Pakistan's name is already mud.
Yeah.
It's in, a number of individuals and institutions are under sanctions by the UN and the US. This, of course, lends us further ammunition to prove that Pakistan not only is talking through its hat as far as Kashmir is concerned, but in fact is a serial abuser of its of land it occupies illegally.
It's not just POK, because that was last week, General Bakshi. Now we have visuals from all over Pakistan, especially Balochistan, parts of FATA there as well, where Zarb-e-Azab is happening right now with the Pakistani military there as well. So it's happening all over Pakistan. It's not just restricted to POK or Gilgit-Baltistan either.
Pakistan looks like a vast gulag, a prisoner of war camp or something out of Siberia, as it used to be in the Soviet times. The whole world was aware of the massive terror factory that Pakistan has opened in the Af-Pak belt, and any terror incident anywhere in the world can be traced back to Pakistan. But I think the world was not so aware of the terror Pakistan has unleashed on its own citizenry, on its hapless people in POK, on the hapless people of Gilgit-Baltistan. There they have been carrying out ethnic cleansing, the murder of Shias. Shias are being pulled out from buses and being killed. Balochistan from the 1970s has been on fire. They have been killing their leaders, unleashed their armies there, their attack aircraft, their attack helicopters, their artillery. Look at what is happening in Operation Zarb-e-Azab. 1 million Afghans Pashtuns have been displaced from their homes, put into refugee camps, and they are bombing the hell out of them.
Okay, let's ask
200,000.
Let's ask Mayad Ali, who joins us from Pakistan.
My God, these are mind-boggling figures.
General Bakshi, hold on for a moment. Mayad Ali joins us from Pakistan as well. China NC also on the program. But let's get Mr. Mayad Ali a chance to respond. Do you agree with the state of Pakistan as being described on the panel tonight, Mr. Mayad Ali? We all know the fault lines within Pakistan run very deep. It's not a simple equation that one can put its mind to. It is a complex web, really, of multi-ethnic, violence first of all, and multi-ethnic tensions within Pakistan. Would you agree with the description of Pakistan's polity today?
No, I don't. I really don't. And I am sorry. I am sorry to hear all these things. The point is that you've been talking about terror machines and everything, and when there's a serious attempt to sort of eradicate this problem, you again have a problem on rights. Now, I don't know what problem within. Don't you have problems of Naxalites? Don't you have problems in Nagaland? Don't you have problems in, I would say, Assam? Or you had problem in Punjab? You had problems as well. That is your internal problem. These are your internal problems, and we've got nothing to do with that. So what is bothering you now? Why do you want to sort of, first you had this terrorism jargon.
No, but Mr. Mayad Ali.
No, listen, kid, let me complete. And now you've come up with this, that we are sort of a terrorist state where we are killing our own people. What are you talking? We are killing only the criminals, and the criminals should be put to dock and they should be killed. And they should be killed the way they are being killed, because I know what they have done to Pakistan. I think the MPM, I would say, bashing is bothering India, which was India's stooge at one time.
You know, I mentioned that the MQM in the earlier program you were with, Mayad Ali. Now, I'm familiar with the discourse in Pakistan as well. The media is by and large they're independent. But the point here is, even if some people in Pakistan consider MQM a terror organization, you say you fight them right now. Are you now saying that these clippings that we're showing right now, these interviews of people saying that there has been targeting of Balochis, of Pashtuns, of various people living in Gilgit-Baltistan, it's not based on selective targeting? Are you just saying that all of them are criminals?
No, yeah, I'm telling the fact. The fact is that Balochis, they raised their arms, now they're coming back and things are cooling down. MQM, we have just touched them. They've never been
So
touched.
see, I expected this from you, sir, and that's why in the introduction that I read out, I mentioned by saying that, oh, you have human rights violations on your side and we have human rights violations on the side. No human rights violation is ever acceptable, Mr. Mayad Ali. So when Pakistan lectures India on our human rights record, I think it's time that you look within before. Shaina NC is well with us. RSN Singh joins us. Shaina NC, would you say this has again blown the lid, if it wasn't being done already, of human rights and their violations within Pakistan? And it seems that when Pakistan lectures India on human rights abuses on our side, it is really just taking the moral high ground, which it's not supposed to have. They don't deserve it. They should look within first.
Absolutely, Atar. Not only are there multiple mutinies within Pakistan, look at their track record. You have a reality that it is a failed state. You have a stalwart like Tariq Fateh, who's an activist who comes on national television worldwide and says how he has no right to express his opinion. And look at the kind of, what shall I call it, inconsistency that Pakistan has showed. It does not allow legitimate dissent, and it gives us a whole moral talk on Naxalites, etc. The reality is that Pakistan has failed its own people. Nawaz Sharif has some serious questions to answer, and whether it's the Pashtuns who have revolted now or other segments of society which are going to continue to follow suit, I think that they can have blinkers on and suggest this is not our problem. We don't want to dwell into what our problems are, but clearly terrorism is. And if Pakistan is a hub of terror, India can be very concerned about all these kind of human rights activists who have not even had the time of day to express themselves.
I think that's a very, very valid position that Shaina NC has taken, and I think you've encapsulated what most of us are thinking, Shaina. RSN Singh also on the panel. Before I go back to Mayad Ali for answers, RSN Singh, would you say these videos, of course, blow the lid off whatever pretense Pakistan had till now about their own record or their own version of the record of their human rights violations within Pakistan? We have Pashtun leaders coming in and speaking to us and saying that selectively targeted Pashtuns are being killed, not just by Pakistan, in cahoots with the US as well.
Actually, I would like to stress upon the fundamental question as to who wanted Pakistan. I mean, we all know that in Sindh, the Sindh United Party called the shots till early 40s, and in Punjab it was the Unionist Party, and in the NWFP, then now Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it was Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan, and the Balochis, how they were incorporated into Pakistan. So we all know that, the larger question is that who wanted Pakistan? Now out of all these, million mutinies you are talking about in several mutinies you are talking about in Pakistan, I think, the most serious one is of the MQM, not for any other reason, but they were the ideological pioneers of Pakistan. And, they are feeling let down because they feel, they are called several names, they are called, refugees, etc. And they feel that they are the architects of Pakistan and see their lot today. So the ideological basis of Pakistan received its first blow when Bangladesh was created, and now I think, the intellectual ideological basis of Pakistan, the final blow is from the MQM. And let me tell you, Mr. Mayank Ali is here, most of these Mohajis, I know, Athar, it's very interesting. 9 million people moved from India to Pakistan. And those who went from East Pakistan to West Pakistan, they were all accommodated. They are not called Muhajirs, by the way. But people who went from UP, Bihar, Rajasthan, you know, they are the ones who are called Muhajirs. Now you compare the situation, you know, Muhajirs versus, you know, people who came from Pakistan to India. I mean, they were you know, absorbed here with
the history lesson all well received, Mr. Harrison Singh. But my point here is, what do you say when you say MQM is the party that is, or the party of the truth? And the discourse in Pakistan seems to be, as Mayad Ali will bear me out right now, you treat MQM, at least some politicians in your country treat MQM like you're supposed to touch a terror organization. I've seen Pakistan television shows. I know what the discourse there about the MQM is. But it's not just about the MQM, Mr. Mayad Ali. This is about what Pashtun leaders are telling NewsX, saying that not just Pashtuns being killed, but terror factories operating in Pakistan. And whenever countries like the Saudi Arabia want terrorists, they come and buy terrorists in Pakistan. It's a factory down there.
Well, it was at one time. First of all, let me respond to my colleague. You just cannot cross over that thing. 1947, yeah, you were obsessed with Pakistan. Everybody wanted Pakistan. Everybody has Pakistan. It will be there forever. You just rest assured about that. Number one. Number two, you're talking of Muhajir Qawmi movement. They chose this word to woo the support of the people they wanted to get. So it's not that the Pakistanis called them Muhajirs. They opted for it themselves. You need to know a lot about Pakistan. You have a deficit on that count. Number one.
Well, no, all of us do, sir.
Number two. Yeah, you do, really do. Because I live here and I know what is happening here.
But I'm offering you the knowledge of me knowing what the Pakistani discourse on the MQM is. I know what you think of the MQM. I know what mainstream politicians like Imran Khan in Pakistan say of the MQM. I understand all of that.
You pick up one odd man and you talk to him who's there selling his country, who's willing to sell his country. You have traitors as well, I know that. There are a lot of people who are against India, who are living in India, who are writing against India. You don't talk about them. You talk about one odd person, two people protesting against in front of UN, two people protesting in Geneva.
Can you deny these voices, Mr. Mayad Ali? Can you say that this is not happening? Okay, I understand your trepidation in looking at the facts right now, but can you deny all this is happening, sir? Can you deny that brutal force is used against civilians inside Pakistan?
What is happening? What is happening in Kashmir? Why you turn away from that? Why you turn away from that?
Okay, General Bakshi and then Ambassador Mukherjee. Hold on. General Bakshi first.
Journalist, and I'm quite surprised to hear the kind of vehemence. He said that some people deserve to be killed. You know, those who have been opposing the state in Pakistan. I would just like to ask Mayad, please take a look at this video.
No, I didn't say that.
The man being kicked and brutalized is not armed. He has no AK-47. He is a civilian, unarmed civilian. See the way he is being bashed. Repeatedly, he is being whipped, he is being kicked. He has been kicked in his groin. I mean, is this human rights? This is not fighting terrorism. This is state terrorism. This is state repression, Mayad Ali. For God's sake, I thought you are a balanced guy.
So you changed your opinion. I said they were criminals. And Bakshi Sahab, I can swear, you take my word on that. These people are not normal human beings. They kill people for nothing. They don't respect anything in the world.
No, Mr. Mayad Ali, I know where you're coming from. You're saying that any anti-terror operation, you have suspects like Talibanis or TTP or all sorts of extremists.
Pashtun.
All these Pashtuns, they have joined hands. I'm not saying that everybody in Tribal Pakhtunkhwa, but Pashtuns are involved in anti-state activities.
But can you generalize an entire ethnicity by saying they are terrorist sympathizers, sir? How can you then come out and say that all Muslims are branded here in India and so on and so forth?
We precisely know where
You decided to term an entire community as helpers of terrorists, which is unfortunate. It happens all over the world, but in this particular case, they are your fellow Muslims.
You know that what happens to blacks in America recently, an incident happened. What happened to IRA? You remember that?
You know, Attar,
No, Mr. Mayadali, let's get some more. Hold on. Shaina, please hold your peace. Ambassador
Is that
Mukherjee,
a justification, for God's sake?
General Bakshi, hold on. Ambassador Mukherjee, let's come in here right now. I seem to understand the kind of line of defense Mr. Mayadali is trying to present to us, but let's face it, human rights violations exist in Pakistan. They might exist in Pakistan. They might exist elsewhere in the world as well, but denying them is not going to make you look better to the entire press of the world, which is what they want right now.
In fact, our Pakistani interlocutor on this panel, I'm absolutely bemused at, unless I totally misunderstood what he said, and I don't think I did, when he characterizes an entire population, an entire ethnic group, like you said, as being not human and therefore deserving to die. I mean, even in the countries which have probably the worst human rights records in the world, I haven't had a leadership, openly stating that an entire population should be killed because they are, they're seen to be against whatever the state is. That's what you said. But let me get back to the subject, which was.
That's what it sounded. Yes, that's what it sounded like. Yes.
That's exactly what it sounded like. If that's not what you meant, you'll have the time to correct it. But that's exactly what I heard. Now this is utterly absurd, but it is reflective of the reality. If I can get back to the subject, which is not about really the history or the export of terrorism, state-sponsored terrorism against India, which of course has been documented in the world in excruciating detail, about Pakistan's unleashing of terrorism and state-sponsored terrorism against its own people. There again, quite apart from their role in suppressing violently opposition in Gilgit and Baltistan, setting up a polity which denies them any freedom under a democratic regime and so on, which is again well documented. Taking a community like the Ahmadiyas and calling them non-Muslims, and somewhat like our interlocutor, more or less approving their elimination.
Yeah.
So this is, I would say, only sowing the wind and reaping the whirlwind. You create terrorism, you nurture it, you support it, nurture it, train it to attack your a so-called enemy you're obsessed with, and it comes back and bites you. The same snake, in fact, is doing far more damage to Pakistan.
You claim to have democracy, sir, in Pakistan. You claim
to India.
You claim to have a democracy functioning in Pakistan, but then you turn around and say that some people have the rights to exist and live in Pakistan, some people don't. How can you call yourself a democracy then, sir? False lines exist within. No.
First of all,
yes.
let me clear. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
That's how it sounded, sir.
Don't put words in my mouth.
No, we're not doing that.
I said the terrorists, quote unquote terrorists.
Mr. Mayadali, you also said, I can play it back, that Pashtuns are involved in terror activities. They're all in it together. That's what you said, sir.
I said, you have a problem. You see, the point is, the Pashtuns who are also the terrorism menace is not confined to certain area. Pashtuns are also involved in it. Punjabis are also involved in it. Even some Karachiites are also involved in it. I didn't say Pashtuns and the entire population. I said the Pashtuns who are supporting these terrorist groups, these terrorist networks, who are part of this.
Sir,
I talked about them.
I think this kind of thinking, it is this kind of thinking that encourages Pakistan to use helicopter gunships and aerial bombardment against opponents inside its own country, which no other country has done.
No other country. Mr. Mayadali, can you really?
Yeah, I can hear you.
No. Can I please invite General Bakshi for a quick comment, then Shaina NC, then I'll come back to you, RSN Singh as well as Mayadali. Go ahead, General Bakshi, please intervene here.
I think the ambassador has raised a very crucial point. In Jammu and Kashmir, we've had a counter-terrorist campaign for the last 20 years, and let me assure you, I was there for 10 years. We have only used small arms. We have confined our entire firepower application to small arms to avoid collateral damage. For God's sake, take a look at what is happening in Pashtunkhwa. F-16 fighter bombers, the tanks, the artillery, the bulldozer to bulldoze houses. Every weapon system in the Pakistani armory has been freely used in, these so-called punitive campaigns. Campaigns to terrorize the population, to punish the population, as it was in the British period. Punitive campaign against the Afghan tribes to overawe them. Bayad, I ask you, this man who's being kicked on this video, would you call him a terrorist?
That was going to be my question, sir.
For God's sake, there are absolutely different rules of engagement you use for unarmed people. Would you call this man a terrorist?
No, answer that, yes.
Let me respond. One, I haven't seen the video. I don't have the video. Number two, whosoever he is, he could be an innocent man. There could be a misjudgment. There could be anything. When there's a mess that we are in, the kind of mess that we have, the collateral damage is always high. You're talking of F-16s being used. You don't know where these F-16s are being used, against whom.
So, Mr. Mayad Ali, in essence, you're saying now you know how it feels to tackle terrorists, and all the times you lectured this side on human rights violations, now you're understanding how difficult it is to fight terrorism. Now you understand how collateral damage perhaps might be a reality. And before you lecture India the next time, Mr. Nawaz Sharif perhaps can think twice about it before he does that.
70,000 people killed, 500,000 army. No record of women rape, and you're comparing it with Pakistan.
No, I'm not comparing Kashmir, sir. Please, I'm not comparing what has happened in Kashmir. I have not talked about Kashmir statistics. I'm well versed with them. I will not say them right now.
I have not talked about Assam. I have not talked about Nagaland. I have not talked about Naxalite, and I have not talked about.
I'm not comparing fighting insurgencies. I'm talking about the high moral ground that Mr. Nawaz Sharif seems to have occupied recently. He invited, by the way, Ambassador Mukherjee, Mr. Nawaz Sharif today invited Syed Ali Shah Girani, a senior separatist leader, to Pakistan, to come to Pakistan on an invitation in the middle of all this. Isn't that a provocation, first of all? If you're trying to come back to ties on speaking terms, what is the need to stoke that?
Well, absolutely. I think it's very difficult to respond diplomatically to a country like Pakistan, with whom we have major problems, and where the world agrees that we should have a dialogue to sort out these problems, because violence is not the answer. It's very difficult. One of the problems in our diplomacy has been something like this invitation, for instance, given to the Hurriyat, when on 2 occasions in the recent part we have made it abundantly clear that you have you have absolutely nothing to do by trying to drag the Hurriyat into as a third party in negotiations. It won't wash. But more than that, we don't even know whether that is policy of the government of Pakistan or whether there is some ploy being thought up by the army. It's difficult to deal with the democratic government, so-called democratic government, which is what we must legally do, and yet knowing that that government is dancing to the tune of another institution, with which we can't really negotiate, because it's not legally the body that can sign an agreement with us.
Because I'm short on time, very quickly, Shaina NC, then we end on RSN Singh. Shaina NC, you, I think, took a position earlier in the program which I completely agree with, and all the broad points you hit, of course, any sane Indian, any sane Pakistani would agree with you there as well. In closing and summing this up, really, do you think now it's time, at least, when the lid has been blown, जो पर्दा होता है मयाद अली वो उठ चुका है और अब सबको पता है कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर क्या हो रहा है तो Shaina NC, would you say it's high time now Mr. Nawaz Sharif stop doing what he's doing? Shaina, come in. We have to end after that. Shaina NC.
I just want to say that Pakistan obviously seems to have blinkers on. They're in perpetual denial mode. This is not just footage that you're showing on Indian television. This has been shown world over. And if there are such gross violations, today it's the Pashtuns that revolt against their Pakistan. I think this kind of situation where you have a victim of state oppression, where there is no fundamental right to speak, and they treat dissent as if they want to finish them off with death. I think is a very, very serious situation for us as a neighbor. And I think it's imperative for us to realize that if they choose not to accept and are in denial mode, it is the international world community that should be talking about this. Today you have Baluchi leaders like Tariq Fateh who have come up on television and said what they had to. They can't take cognizance of people like that. I think that the future for Pakistan looks very dim and dismal.
And Nawaz Sharif
short on time right now. I'll have to end there.
Nancy, many thanks for joining us. RSN Singh, Mayad Ali, General Bakshi, as well as Ambassador Shiv Shankar Mukherjee. That's an abrupt note to end a debate on.